We're back, and we're trying something different. I'm hoping this shows the line quality a little bit better. We have a light setup now, and kind of like changes the angles. So I'm happy to get feedback from anybody that's been watching, and hopefully this gets a little bit more detail of the line work of the drawing. I gotta stop blowing on it. I end up spitting a lot on the drawings. Too much information, but it's probably best not to blow the little shavings off. And we're gonna get working on continuing, just lightly dusting off the shavings here, the bunny drawing. And this is Bun Bun, for anybody that doesn't know. This is my bunny, and these are the characters around her, and we're gonna get moving and start adding. Feel free to ask any questions as I'm going, and I think I'll get to stream for at least an hour today, maybe a little bit longer. So hopefully we'll get some real progress done on this. This piece and most of my other work that I'm working on now will be going up in a show here in LA in Santa Monica this April. So that's really exciting. And we'll get started. Just gonna sharpen this. Actually, if I was a more prepared person, I would have sharpened it before I started streaming, but you know, baby steps here. If you'd asked me if I'd even consider doing anything like this, I think I would have been absolutely petrified. I kind of still am a little bit, but everybody has been asking such great questions, and I feel very comfortable answering them. And I love drawing, and I love showing how I draw, and I like to kind of take away a little bit of that separation that we feel between us and art, and kind of like bring it to the reality of it, and not try to hide too much about process. And I've got the gang behind me today. Let's see. You can see on the couch, Rufus, Ozzy, and... Oh, where's Kitty? She was here. Oh, she's under the coffee table. And Bun and Crazy Albus may be coming out at any point. We'll see. Albus was asleep on my bed a few minutes ago. And he is adjusting just fine into the house, and he's a total spaz. A giraffe and dog commission a few years back. I'd have to see it. My poor brain. It sounds definitely like me. Do you have, oh, I don't know how you would share a picture of it. Or give me more information. I probably, as soon as I see it, would remember it instantly. So hands for, oh, thank you. If there's a way to get me the image, then it will all come rushing back, because I remember everything. Obviously, I'm a visual person, so I remember everything. The artwork, once I see the artwork, then I remember when I did it, what I was thinking, and all of that. It was this, oh, yes! Yes, 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 I do. The giant poofy white dog holding the giraffe. Yes, yes, I do. Well, thanks for tuning in. Yes, that'd be great. Or you could, I remember it now. I do remember it. Had the most beautiful, I think it did like, was it the one I did like a water scene? Or there was like a small, what was it? It was like a landscape or something with it too, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I'm mixing up commissions. Well, that's awesome. I do. That was a beautiful dog, like a polar bear. That's so cool. Well, thank you for watching. I've got this guy coming. Oh my gosh, my face is covering it. Silly me. Let me bring it down. There we go. Here we go. So I'm working on this praying mantis here on top of this bear. I've got like a million stories about everything, but I love praying mantises. And when we first bought our house, gosh, it's been over 10 years ago, my friend had this really beautiful garden, and she's like, oh, the secret is the praying mantises. They kind of like kill the aphids on the roses and all that. And I remember I ended up, this is so weird. I answered a Craigslist ad for praying mantis cocoon, or their cocoons or pods. And oh, yes, the stormy background. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. Oh, the praying mantis pods. And I bought, it's kind of a weird, it sounds like a shady drug deal, but I ended up meeting this guy in the parking lot. I didn't go by myself, of a Home Depot, and he sold me a praying mantis cocoon. And it was like $10. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is so weird, answering Craigslist ad. Anyway, so I put it in my garden, and fast forward 10 years, I have so many praying mantises in my yard now. A lot of them stayed. And some of them get so big. They're really cool. So what I do now is, in the fall when I cut back a lot of my plants, I find their like egg sacs, and then I give them to people. So like my mom and my sister, my neighbors, like I'll because I have a lot of mantises in my yard now, so I'm spreading the mantis wealth. Oh, that's so cool. You have a channel that oh, that would be awesome. I don't know much about technology and how that would work, but that would be great. But praying mantises are pretty cool. But I have to say, some of the ones in my garden, they get so big that even I can't pick them up anymore because it's like their eyes like they're making direct eye contact with me, and I'm like, oh, it's a little bit spooky. And I'm totally cool with you living on my plants, but I don't need to carry you around or mess with you in any way. Oh, my studio. Hello, good to see you or see from you. The back studio is, oh, my backyard looks like they had to dig a 18-inch trench and dig up the driveway because we're running new electrical wires. And so the city says they have to be like buried underground, and so it looks like a bomb went off in my backyard. But it's coming. Once this is done, the city comes out and inspects it, and then we can cover the trench again. And then it's ready to kind of start the interior of the garage. I'm working on that. And this weekend I'm looking at garage doors, some kind of cool door that we'll put on the garage, because right now our garage doors are kind of rotted in place, so we gotta figure that out. Yes, there's definitely progress, but when you're in the middle of it, it's kind of hard to see it. It's so terrible looking outside, but it's going to be really good. And I can't wait probably a couple months, and I'll be back there. Hopefully by summer, I'll be working back there full time again so that my family can have the living room back. Although I kind of like working in here because it's really cozy and all the animals are with me. But I'll bring them in the back with me. It's not a big deal. Oh, cool. It says you're hosting me now? Well, thank you. So for this little praying mantis guy, I can't really use the full-size Q-tips, so I'm back to my detail Q-tips. Here we go. And it's pretty good for coloring in these really detailed areas here. There we go. Oh my God. Can I imagine? Oh, that would have been nuts. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that if Michelangelo had Twitch. That's actually a really great, like, movie or Netflix idea. Watch, somebody's gonna steal it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. And, you know, I've read stories about his personality. I think he'd probably thrive on it. Or maybe not. Maybe he'd be like, no, this is secret how I work. Or a GoPro. That would be hilarious. Again, because I'm such a visual person, I'm just like imagining him on that old scaffolding with a GoPro on, drawing the spark of life. That would be, yeah, that would be funny. That makes me laugh. What about Leonardo da Vinci talking about his inventions and grave robbing at night to draw anatomy? That would be pretty crazy too. And hear all his philosophies on life and learn about, you know, all the secrets and the Mona Lisa and all that. That would be so cool. Yeah, it could be scary too. For sure. Okay, we've got our mantas. Right here, what I drew, and you know, again, I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate, but they have these wings, or at least a lot of the ones here, they're like this bright green, and they like do this like wing thing, and that's kind of like what I drew in here. Is like if he got scared or threatened, he could flop this thing up and create kind of like a, I don't know, it's almost like a peacock. Because I was rescuing one from the street not too long ago, and every time I went to pick him up, he did that like thing at me, and it was really pretty. It looked like leaves. And then like curtains, because it's like a thin layer and a thick layer. And they just look so smart. Praying mantises always look like they're thinking. I'll sharpen my pencil just a little bit to get in there. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Starting to show up. Can I ask, does this look better? Because I know you've been watching from the beginning. Can you see more line quality now than you could before? We changed the lights and some of the settings on the camera, but I think that it might just be the type of camera that I got as well, that is just not able to do more. Yes, better? Oh, good. Because it looks better here on my TV that it's streaming on, but I'm not 100% sure how that translates to everybody. So I've got this bear here, kind of holding a plank. Oh, that sounds funny. Holding a wood, like a wood plank, and on it is this beautiful kudu. Well, it's not beautiful yet, but I have an idea for a beautiful kudu. So I'm just like rotating his hands kind of around a little bit like that. Here we go. I'm just kind of moving his paws around a little bit. Just rotated the angle. Oh, good, good. And again, I would say this is almost exaggerated here, but I think it's better to be a little exaggerated with the cross hatching than to be like under, because that's what we're trying to learn here and teach here. So, but on Instagram and on my Facebook, I'll update just photos from my camera so you can see kind of a little bit clearer of what the overall look looks like. A little bit of shadow here. And his arm here would come out the other side, right here. Here's the rib cage of the kudu. Comes down. Here's his chest. Legs are folded under. And then here comes the back leg. And I'm going to have it come off of this wood plank. Kind of like it's free. There you go. Okay, I think you can see it. Okay. I drew this giant kudu a couple years ago for a client, and it was so cool. I drew on the kudu they have this kind of like long hair patch, like a reverse mane, and I had because it almost reminded me of a scarf, so I had it like come up with a zipper, and the zipper had popped open and it kind of split up at the top. But it wasn't gory, but it was more of kind of like it was an accessory to this kudu, and that was so much fun to draw. I actually got my big winter jacket out and just took a photo of what it looked like for me to zip up my big winter jacket, and then changed out the texture of the jacket for kudu fur, and that was it. Oh, thank you. I do look at a lot of photos. I'm always looking at animals online and in books. Over here I have a bookcase, and it's just all different types of animal books and encyclopedias. That used to be my favorite thing to look through, is kind of any not some, yeah, encyclopedias where they do anatomical drawings of the animals. It's not just photos, it's like drawings of different parts of the animals. And I was always kind of obsessed with those, even as a kid. But if you think about it, a lot of the anatomy is similar. Like this is a kudu, which is, I guess, a type of antelope, and this is a bighorn sheep, not a mountain goat. I'm now sure of that. But they have similar traits. And bears, obviously. I mean, they all have very similar traits. And in college, I did a lot of life drawing and life painting, and that's why I bring in a lot of human anatomy into my animals as well, because underneath it all, we all have like surprisingly similar bodies. They're just kind of stretched out in different places, and I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me that underneath it all, we're all the same things. They're just kind of in different locations. Oh, this here is kind of a exaggerated humanizing part of that bear that's been added, not necessarily anatomically correct. Although bears do have kind of those lips that can project out. But I'm taking away any kind of danger from this bear, and so to do that, you can kind of humanize it a little bit. Because this story isn't about a scary bear. It's about working together. This one's kind of about family. So I'm going to eliminate some of that stuff, where in some of my drawings I'm going to highlight that. But that's not the story for this drawing. You'd be afraid to go beyond the norm? Well, I feel like nowadays, what's normal anyway? I always wondered what that was. It's like, can't you just be normal? I don't even know what would be defined as normal, especially with all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. It's like, I don't think there's any normal anymore, or if we even want normal. Okay, you can see him kind of coming alive. I like his foot dangling off the edge, and I might have something coming off, or I might have his foot interacting with this guy here, who's kind of fun. I've got over here, yeah, that's right. I don't think we need normal anymore, or we even want it. I was hoping Elvis would come out and join us in here. He's still a little bit scared, believe it or not, of these beasts behind me that don't move off the couch all day. I think it's going to take a little bit longer. He tends to sleep on my bed in the other room during the day. And then he's up all night being nuts. I don't know how long it takes for a cat to calm down, but he is a spaz at night from like midnight to 4 a.m. and then he sleeps in the daytime. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oh, yes, yes, and I should have explained that. Thank you for asking. So how I got that curve on this is I just shaded underneath. So if this, you have to imagine, a kudu's horn is not like a bighorn sheep, which is very round and voluminous. It's, they're almost flat, so it's almost like, so I got my ruler here. Imagine twisting that in the air, what would happen? It's like twisting a piece of paper. So if I draw out the first shape like this, and it curve, and then so like this would be the very tip of it folding back, and then you see the flat end again, and then you see it folding back, and then you see the small end. Does that make sense? Ooh, you know what? Next time I'll get my kneaded eraser so I can show you how sometimes that's helpful when you want to draw something that's three-dimensional, that's kind of flat. You can carve it into it. Yes, I drew one shape, but broke it up into 3 different parts and then shaded underneath each of the parts, if that makes sense. But what I'll do for next time is get my kneaded eraser out so I can kind of show you how to figure that out without having to look at the horns of a kudu. Or anything, you can use it, and sometimes I do it too, and I'll even do a really rough shape of, say, an elephant in my kneaded eraser, and then put it underneath the light. Oh, you can see how messed up my thumbs are. Yee. This is from overwashing your hands, that's what it looks like. I forgot what I was talking about. Anyways, we can with the kneaded eraser, we can use a rough shape to see light and shadow without the details, but it's easy to break it down that way. Or maybe I'll go find it now. Okay, let me go. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go in my little drawer here and see if I have a kneaded eraser. Okay. Got a kneaded eraser. So I'm just warming it up right now. Okay. Better to get them a little bit warmer. It's easier to, but you'll get the gist of what I'm saying, I think. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so say okay, I rolled this out in kind of a tube. So now I'm going to flatten it out a little bit because a kudu's horns aren't totally round. They have volume. They're not flat, but they're not totally round. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of, so it's kind of flatter. Now, imagine it coming out of the head of the kudu and it turning and then it turning back. This kudu horn is really long. I should exaggerate it more. Let me exaggerate it more. Coming out, turning, and then turning. Can you kind of see? Oh, there you go. Can you see what happened to that horn there? How you see the flat edge here, and then the skinny edge, but then you see the underneath, and then as it turns, the flat edge again. This is a really not super accurate, but it gives you the idea of what, and there you go. That's how I can draw a kudu horn without looking at it. Well, I've been drawing kudu horns a long time, but if I needed to, I could just do that. And then here, say you're looking at the back of the kudu, you can rotate that horn, and now you know what it's going to look like. And then if I was really accurate, I could, spend a few minutes and really sculpt this out to look like it. And then the best part, when you're done, you can use it to erase. So if I have like a little elephant or whatever, I can just, you don't need to add. It's so funny because you don't need the details, you just need the basics. So say I want to draw a little elephant. And I in this part of the drawing I'm having light come from a side. And I want to see how that's going to highlight the volume of an elephant. So here's my little elephant. So I just put this down, or I can light it any which way I want. So say that I'm like, oh, okay, the light's going to hit here, or I can have like a little flashlight or light from my cell phone and hit it from an angle, and then I'm like, oh, I see. Okay, so the shadow's going to be under here. You're not going to even see this back leg, and then you could see a little bit of this leg here, and the shadow's all under here. But I say I want to light it from below, same thing. I can light it from below and see what I need to see. So, and then you can use it, to erase, which is great. And I actually should have a kneaded eraser out here. There's really no reason why I shouldn't. See, my little elephant erased for me. So there's a lot of little things that we can do to kind of figure stuff out without having photo reference of the exact angle or the exact, you know, exact light source. Because how are you going to have the exact light source that you need on all your animals? Okay, so I'm going to put this guy, actually, I'm going to use this guy a little bit. A kneaded eraser is usually what I kind of bring in towards the end, and it's kind of for that subtle, really soft highlighting. Kneaded erasers are great for that. Okay, no problem. I hope it makes sense. I wasn't too spazzy about it. And you can also do it like you have a sculpture. Like, where's my, on my mantle I have like an elephant and I have like a dog, and I can use that too and turn, you know, and kind of change that into any other animal I need, just to see the light and the volume. Oh, you're not distracting me. This is exactly why I'm here. Because that's kind of like a fun thing that, or a fun tool that I use a lot in the studio. I have all these kneaded erasers and I kind of have them, sometimes I set up like a whole mini scene like this. You know, like here's little ball here, and then each ball is like an animal, and I just hit it with light and just see how it looks. And that's kind of a great way of feeling out the composition. It's not super accurate, and it might freak a lot of other artists out to do it like that. But to me, that's kind of all I need. I just need the hint of it, and then I can go with it. I got two different macaws over here. In honor of the, oh, I just read an article about, I think they're the blue macaws or some kind of blue parrot species from South America that's now extinct. Which is just heartbreaking. See if you can see these enough. I'm gonna scooch this over. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's kind of, I guess that's, oh, that would be a good idea. Maybe I could do that. Let's do that. Oh my gosh, you're full of good ideas. Let's erase this guy and draw his head on this one. Let's see how that looks. That would be cool. Okay. I don't know if that head's too big for him. Ah, 5 days. Well, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm going to live with it for a little bit and see how it goes, but I'm going to make this guy's back a little bit bigger. I think I might have to work out something better here because it's not working. Anatomically, a two-headed bird, I feel, his head would be set a little bit lower like that. But sometimes these ideas work and sometimes they don't, but you don't know. At least me, I don't know until I try, and I don't want it haunting me in the back of my head going, oh, that's actually a really cool idea. And I don't know it until I try it, and I have to see if I like it, and so this is the only way to do it. To see if I like it. But actually, I think that contextually makes a little bit more sense too, considering they're gone. So like the only way they could bring them back is like if they made these Frankenstein-y birds in a lab. And they bring back these blue macaws now. That's like a more accurate connection, I think. I'm going to leave that there and let it marinate and see how it looks to me later. But I do like this idea of the two-headed parrot. Maybe I'll make a three-headed parrot. Okay, I'm going to think about it before I get crazy here. Instead, let's draw this guy he's sitting on. These guys. I don't know if you could see Ozzy back there, but he's just passed out, snoring. Ozzy! Oh, he's so mean! I woke him up. Can you see him? He's so cute. Ozzy! Ozzy, come here. Ozzy, come say hi. Come here. Come say hi to everybody. And show them how cute you are. This is Ozzy. Isn't he adorable? Why are you gonna say hi? Ozzy's mostly a baby. Yeah. He loves this. He would sit with me all day. Oh, yeah. So I groomed him, and it was a mohawk, but then, you know, it kind of, I'm not gonna put product in his hair, but unless you do, it kind of like just flops over. But you have to imagine it's a really cool mohawk. Now it just looks like, what are you doing here? Okay, go join your buddies. I'm not gonna make Rufus leave the couch because he's a million years old. Oh yes, a test subject for the artwork, or I did like a dragon on him once, where I shaved like everything but his spine all the way up, trying to make it look like a dragon. And now my daughter wants me to shave part of her head, and she's like, "You shave the dog all the time. Shave my hair." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Test subject for yes, except I won't use any product or anything like that. I don't want any chemicals on him. But we're always trying new haircuts with him. Rufus, did you come to say hi, Bubba? Oh. He's going back to his spot. Oh, who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Nobody's here. Where'd it go, guard dog? Okay. So I'm going to use this and lay down some tone here on this mouse. Really subtle, just a little bit. Oh my gosh, excuse me. It's that cat, man. He's nuts. Keeps you up all night. I should actually sit in my chair all the way. There we go. Okay. mice are so cute. I used to have pet mice growing up and then pet rats, and we had 2 pet rats we got from my daughter when she was a little bit younger. They were super cute and great pets, but they don't live that long. They get this terrible respiratory infection that, you know, you can try to fight it, but they just weren't healthy individuals to start with. So 4 months, I got antibiotics for the second one, and it lived that bout, and then that one lived to be only about 8 months old. And I was pretty heartbroken because we were really attached to those little guys. And they lived in the bunny's room with the bunny. And they were all pretty good friends. Yeah, they're doing something in the backyard. Oh, we can't really see that. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, do you know what movie I watched? Not that you know what movie I watched yesterday. I saw that it was on Netflix. It's like, oh, you were gonna watch this, and it was called Hereditary. Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. I still don't really understand what's going on because I was drawing most of the time. But then at the end, I was like, oh, what is this? Anybody seen Hereditary and can explain to me exactly what happened? Besides being really gruesome. Was it scary? Yeah, it was super scary. It was I'm giving you a lot of information here. I forget the name. Oh, the actor. She's in a ton of movies, and so is he. I'm not helping you at all right now with the information. But it's called Hereditary, and it just like popped up in my thing and on Netflix. It scared the crap out of me. I was like, ah. But I didn't watch it like super, super close the whole time, so I kind of lost some of the plot because I was drawing at the same time. And it was kind of one of those movies I think you gotta like watch really a little bit closer so you kind of understand what's happening. And I must have missed some stuff from not watching it the whole time. But I definitely don't want to watch it again to find out because I'm not doing that again. It always like pops up in your queue. You might like to watch this, and I always click on it and watch it. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, that was good. And sometimes I'm like, that was petrifying. Oh, okay. Bohemian Rhapsody, A Star is Born, and The Girl in the Ooh, what's The Girl in the Spider's Web? That sounds scary. Oh, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That sounds familiar. I kind of remember the visuals on that one, but it was a long time ago. Guess I can only remember so many movies at once, and then some other information leaks out. I feel like this guy should have a towel or some kind of tapestry on his back since he's got this fancy two-headed parrot that's riding him. So I just added this kind of tapestry thing here. Almost like a saddle pad, but flatter. Like a saddle pad liner. For any horse people out there. Like one of those thin ones you put on over the thick one. Shadow kind of extends underneath him, so I'm going to do that with the Q-tip. Little toes. Bring them out a little bit. And I can put the shadows in a little bit deeper now. And this is another good example of something you could use the kneaded eraser for. If you wanted to just look at a tail, create the shape of a tail and lay it down and kind of see where the light and the shadow hits on it, that would work for this as well. Nice. I'm glad. Glad you can use it. And you can even get a little Play-Doh too, if you want to make a little bit bigger sculptures. Play-Doh works great. I try not to use bright colors because it distracts me. But Play-Doh works really well for that too. Oh my gosh, and Silly Putty would work, but I haven't seen that since I was a kid. And I think we're the same age, so you probably remember Silly Putty. I wonder if they still have Silly Putty. I have no idea if they make it. Because right now, like my daughter and all her friends, they're way into like that slime stuff, which I can't stand. Don't like how it feels. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. I spend some time on Amazon quite often. I'll see if that's even a thing anymore. But that would be cool if I ordered like a little thing of Silly Putty. But this just seems so like no waste because it's like, oh, I sculpt it and then use it as an eraser and then sculpt it again. They never dry out, so it's ideal. But Silly Putty was fun to make stuff with. Oh, I know. Tell me about it. And it's a giant. Not that I'm like a neat freak or anything, but after they're in the bathroom making that stuff, oh my gosh, there's shaving cream and glue. It's like, oh, like Silly Putty was such a great thing. Like, why can't they just? Maybe I can get Silly Putty for them, but they probably won't like it because I got it. Oh wow, glue by the gallons. Oh. I saw that Costco sold out of its 25-pound tubs of macaroni and cheese that doesn't go bad for like 20 years. And they sold out of it, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. It's a lot of macaroni and cheese and a really amazing expiration date. But they like basically sold out of them. Adding a little whiskers, a couple stray hairs. The rodents usually have like one or two kind of long ones, like whiskers above their eye, which makes sense because they need to know if they're bumping into something up here. So I always like to add those in. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Oh, my paper's sliding. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Everybody's getting their doomsday shelters ready, and they're putting macaroni and cheese, 25 pounds mac and cheese in their bunkers. I'd have a hard time surviving because I'm vegan and I try to eat mostly fruit and vegetables. And I think like in an apocalypse situation, I could eat canned food, but then I don't know, it would be hard. So I guess I'd have to go out with the first wave, and that would be the only way I could do it. Although I can do a lot of like outdoorsy stuff. Like I used to backpack and rock climb and kayak, and I lived and built an igloo with my friends, and we stayed in there in the winter. Not that I'd recommend it, it was so cold, but I kind of know how to make a snow shelter, a water still in the desert, and a couple other really cool survival tips. But the reality of what society would be like, it's like, I don't know if I could survive that. I'm gonna make these like little tassels. Oh my gosh, they're under my house right now. You can hear yelling. Oh, I'll be so happy when this is done. Yeah, I love the Swiss Family Robinson too. I think that like if the apocalypse, I could do it on like a tropical island where there'd be tons of like fruit and like agriculture or like fruit, veggies that I could plant and grow on my own. Are you saying there was no hygiene in shaving, or are you saying there was hygiene in shaving? Because I like, I would love to, if there was, I'd have to bring a toothbrush. I guess in apocalypse you don't think about toothbrushes, but I'd probably throw one in my pocket. Oh my gosh, they're underneath the house. Oh, yeah. I don't know, maybe you're, just ready to live the rugged lifestyle. But walking on a beautiful tropical beach every day and eating coconuts, mangoes, pineapples, and papayas, like I think I could live like that. And a toothbrush and hygiene products. And then I'd be super happy. And pets. Or animals probably that I rescued or found. No. Not all. Well, I didn't think that they were, but thank you for clarifying. There's this couple that sometimes I follow on Instagram, and they say that they don't need to brush their teeth because they only eat fresh fruits and vegetables, and that the fiber, like eating the fruits and vegetables, cleans their teeth. And it's kind of like, I wonder if that's just them, like, kind of, or if they legitimately don't need to or don't have to brush their teeth. I'm kind of like, I was totally into it. I'm like, that's because they live in like a tropical rainforest in Costa Rica, and I'm like, that's pretty sweet. And then they go, oh, we don't even need to brush our teeth. And I was like, what? actually used to go on these survival trips for 2, 3. I think the longest I was gone for was for a month out in the desert. And it's probably a lot of information, but we didn't shower for that month. But we were next to a lake, so we would like swim. But we didn't have like soap. I had like cooking, camping, biodegradable soap, so that, you know, every couple of days you just kind of like wash yourself down as best you could. But we did come out of that trip looking like cavemen. We had, because we were living, I mean, we didn't, I don't know, well, we chose to sleep on the rocks at night and not in tents to just really be out in nature. So we came home and my mom picked me up from a friend's house and she walked right past me. She didn't even recognize me. And that was like before, and then my husband knew me when I would go on some of the trips, but nothing that extreme, so I didn't, you know, look too different. But yeah, got a couple weeks without showering. I survived. But everybody smells so bad, you know, you can't tell who's who. So that was a little TMI for everybody watching. It has nothing to do with art, but it has to do with my wilderness survival days. But it's amazing how little you need when you kind of go into the backcountry, and it's all just survival stuff that you worry about. You don't worry about anything else. Puts things into perspective. Oh. Oh, Bun's out. You see her? She came out. Hey, Bun Bun. Come here, baby. Come here, bud. Oh, Ozzy's like, I'll come. Bye-bye. There's a piece of carrot sitting on the, you can probably see it's right there. Did you come out to get the carrot? She loves Ozzy. Can you see him making out over there? Oh, they're so cute. Oh, good. It looks better then? Yay! I'm glad. So we changed the settings on the camera, and then there's a light now that I have on it, and it's helping, I think, illuminate the contrast now. Yay! Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Sharpen this up a little bit. I'm going to do the people on this mouse. There we go. I just want to do the people on one of the animals. I've got the lion and the mouse now. carrots for Bun Bun? No? You're not gonna share? He's eating the carrot. Bun Bun, do you want some? Do you want some, baby girl? No? Okay. She doesn't want any, you can have it. You don't want any? I was thinking I'd bring Albus over here and say hi. He's sleeping on my bed nice, even though he kept us up all night, so I'm thinking maybe he can wake up now and hang out, and then maybe sleep more at night. So he's been with us, let's see, 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks now. Okay, this is Albus. Albus, say hi. He's like, no, you woke me up. Okay, down you go. Oh, the eyes make them look so, yes, they do. And that's why this is all kind of super creepy right now. Oh, thanks. He's a handsome guy. He's sitting there kind of pissed that I woke him up. But I feel it's fair because he kept us up all night. I'm like, maybe you should stay up during the day and sleep during night like the rest of us. Oh, sorry, I should talk. I'm just drawing. I forget. Let's move this over this way a little bit so we can see this part of the drawing. Let me shift here. I don't know if the noise is too much, if you can pick up kind of the audio here, but there's people underneath our house working right now. So I got right here, I've got this little baby chimps, and I'm trying to separate it from the foot of this bear here, give it a little more definition. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm going to bring his nose up a little bit more. Highlighting the brow of the chimp right here, the part that sticks out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me see, what time is it? Oh, I'm good. I'm good with time. You scared me for a second. I'm like, yeah. Wait, what's today? Tuesday. Yeah, I'm good. She's got play practice after school today. Okay, I have a few more minutes and then I'm going to work in the back until it's time to get my daughter. I'm just going to try to do a little bit more on this guy. Hi, baby. Albus is here. I feel bad. I totally woke him up from sleeping, but he kind of deserves it, and I think he should be awake while we're awake a little bit more. He looks like a full-grown cat, but he's got to be a kitten. I have another vet appointment on Thursday. I'm going to ask him to look at this cat and tell me how old they think he is, because he acts like a baby. That's funny. Brings a little life into the house, I'll tell you that. It's just, unfortunately, it's like when we're all trying to sleep. Oh, sometimes it's a little of both. Sometimes I revise it. I do a lot of like changes, but then when it's done and I still feel like I need to change it, then I will start a new one and kind of work it out into that next one. Because yeah, otherwise I'd have a hard time completing anything because then I'm like, oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Oh, what if I do this? And then, at some point I have to censor it and be like, okay, that's enough. That's enough information now to start a new drawing. So, take that energy and put it into something new. I'm just separating out the foot here a little bit from the chin. Who was hissing? Oh, don't do that, Albus. She was sleeping. See, I woke up the monster and he was like poking at the old cat. Hey, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Don't torture her. Ah. Okay, Sammy's on the table. I woke the sleeping beast. He wants to play with the old cat so bad, and she'll play for like a minute or two, and then she's like, I just want to sleep. And he hasn't quite figured that out yet, that he needs to play with the little dog, because Ozzy's got a lot of energy, a lot more than the cat does. But give him a little bit more time. There's a hole in my coffee table, and he likes to stick his foot down there, and then underneath it's the litter box, so when the bunny's in the litter box, he likes to put his foot down there and kind of like tap at the bunny. Albus, you're crazy. It's funny though. It's funny to have a young animal in the house again. I forget what it's like because all my animals are kind of seniors. Sleepy seniors. Oh, he's in the fireplace. Okay, I think I better call it quits now before I start something new. Let me see what time it is. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go work in the back and then pick up my daughter. So everybody have a fantastic day, and thank you for chatting with me and keeping me company. If you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or ask. And I should be back Thursday, barring any strange power issues, because we're going to be doing disconnecting power and hooking up power the rest of this week. So otherwise, I should see everybody on Thursday. And thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.